Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Welcome back. I'm Frank Agin, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections, and your host of this episode of the Networking RX podcast. Thanks again for listening, subscribing, and referring others, and certainly thanks for the comments and questions you've sent in. Once again, those comments and questions prove to be indication that we need to explore in more details things I've talked about in the past, or just help us with topics for the program. Today I want to talk about follow-up, people following up with us. One of the challenges of networking is, one, doing things, going out to events, sending out emails, spending time on LinkedIn, making comments, making posts, introducing people, doing things, and then connecting with people, having the opportunity to connect with people, somebody who's showing an interest. You're at a particular event, you've talked to somebody, you exchange cards, agree to talk later, or maybe it's somebody that you've met on LinkedIn and you've had quite a conversation, and there's the talk about getting together for a phone conversation, or maybe if they're local, getting together for a cup of coffee. You throw out some dates and you wait. And you wait. And you wait. And you're waiting for them to get back to you for whatever reason it might be. You're going to get them more information. You're going to get together, have a conversation, whatever it might be. But they sort of leave you waiting, and that waiting can be agonizing. It can be painful. It can be depressing at times, depending upon what you've got going on. At times it can be maddening. At times it can be maddening that somebody has said, yeah, I'll get back to you, and they don't. So here are some tips, 3 tips for waiting on follow-up. The first tip I have is simply this. Be patient. You have to be patient. You don't know what's going on in somebody else's life. I have played the waiting game. I play the waiting game. I get things out to people, and they say they're going to get back to me, and they don't necessarily as quickly as I'd like to. I'd like to send somebody an email. I'd like to hear back right away. The world doesn't work that way. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And what I have found is that being patient often the best strategy. Listen, if somebody's going to just string you on forever, you don't want them in your life anyway. So you might as well be patient. But I have found that when people leave me waiting, there's usually a reason there. It's usually a legitimate reason, and I take them at their word. But it might have been a situation where they did respond, but it didn't go out. Or they responded and it went into a spam folder. Or it might be something that happened on their end. Deaths in the family, sicknesses, just getting tied up with business, people's computers crashing. It can be any number of things that have happened over time that's going to delay them in getting back to you. It might just be that they're busy, and that's okay. I joke with people, but there's some truth in it as well, is that I'm okay waiting on somebody who's busy. I would rather wait on somebody who's busy because that means they're successful than have somebody who's responding right away because they're not successful. And so sometimes that waiting is an okay thing. They're busy, and you have to remember that we're not necessarily the only person in people's lives. We're not the only person trying to have a cup of coffee with somebody. We're not the only person that's got them information that they need to get back on. There are lots of things going on. They've got lots of moving parts in their worlds, just as we have lots of moving parts in our world, and we have to just be patient. Another thought on follow-up and getting people to follow up is if you embed whatever you have with some sort of value. And what I mean by that is if you just come at somebody and say, hey, listen, here's X, Y, and Z, pick one of the 3, get back to me as soon as possible, it almost feels like you're selling to them, and they're not in any hurry to get back. But if there's some value wrapped up in what you've done, what you're offering them, and again, you need to be known as someone offering value, Maybe what it is, it's an offer of a connection or offer of an insight or offer of a referral. So you're emailing somebody, here's A, B, and C, or X, Y, and Z. Get back to me when you can. Hey, and when you get back to me, if you would let me know if you would like to meet this person, or if you would like this information, or if this might be a good referral opportunity for you, because I'm going to be out there. So you're at that point, you've provided them an offer of value, and so they need to get back to you. And so that puts a little more motivation on their end to get back to you in a more timely manner. Again, if you're just looking for value, people don't have as much incentive, but if there's value that you have in return, they're more likely to get back to you in a more timely fashion. I'm not advocating that you do anything manipulative. These things have to be legitimate value, because if you do something manipulative, you get to do it once. And once people figure out that that's what you're about, certainly the person you're dealing with, you're going to blow your trust with them. But the word's going to get out that you're doing these things. But if you're truly a student of networking, if you're truly a practicer of good networking, and you're offering good value, hey, I'm wondering if I could introduce you to this person. Would that be helpful? And being sincere about that, and then certainly following through if they respond and say yes, this will work for you. The third thing I have to say with respect to waiting on follow-up, and this gets back to number one and just being patient, but the third thing I have to say is you just have to play the numbers game. If you want to fill your day, week, or month with a certain number of networking contacts, relationship building, and you reach out to somebody and you're waiting on that one person, yeah, you're going to wait. But if you reach out to 10 people, knowing that some are going to get back to you relatively quickly, some it's going to take a little longer, and others it's going to take a little longer than that, and there'll be a handful that just never ever get back to you. But if you do that and you play your odds, you're going to fill your day. So what I'm advocating is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just wait on one person. Just continue to move forward, continue to network with people, continue to put things out there, and people will come back in their own time. I've sent things out to people, and in waiting for them, I just move on to the next person. I haven't forgot about them, but I just realized, you know what, I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to let them do what they're going to do. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and reach out to somebody else. I'm going to try and connect in another situation. I'm going to go to another event. I'm going to do other things on LinkedIn. I'm going to do this. And yes, I run the risk that everybody gets back to me all at the same time, and then I got a problem. It seldom happens. And if it does, when it does, in rare occasions, it's never all at the same time, but sometimes I do get overloaded. People understand. You can just say, hey, listen, my week is full. Can we do this next week or the week after next? And they understand. Again, people like to deal with busy people. They don't want to deal with somebody who's ready at the drop of a hat. So those are the three things to really kind of help you with waiting on follow-up. Be patient. Offer value so there's an incentive for them to get back to you. Third, play the numbers game. The bonus advice I want to give you with respect to this is simply this, and this is from something I wrote in the book Foundational Networking. Be the person you want to network with. And what I'm driving at with respect to that is that if you want people to follow up with you in a more timely fashion, then be that person. If people are reaching out to you and looking for you to follow up, don't string them along. Follow up with them as you would want to be followed up with. Take the lead. Become the person you want to network with. And what you'll find in doing that is three things. One is that you'll brand yourself as somebody who is reliable and follows up and follows through. And that serves to build your trust. The second thing that this is going to do is it's going to create a culture within your network, an expectation in your network that people follow up. People are going to do what you do. And then the third thing that's going to happen is that you're going to attract to you the people who operate like you. Birds of a feather flock together. So to the extent you are good at your follow-up, you're going to attract other people who are good at follow-up. And you're going to build your whole network with these types of people. Become the person you want to network with. To wrap up, remember, we're looking to add quality people to our stable of franchisees. This is a unique franchise opportunity in that it's geared for aspiring entrepreneurs or professionals to add on to what they're already doing. Again, all of our franchisees do something else. For a couple hours in the morning, just a few days a week, our franchisees operate the AmSpirit Business Connections program. The rest of the week, they're accountants, attorneys, financial advisors, realtors, coaches, consultants of various kind. If you're interested, contact me. There's an email in the show notes, or use the one we provide at the end of the podcast, or just Google Frank Agin and you'll find me on LinkedIn or any number of different places.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.